From Atlanta,
home of the Plaza Theater.
it's the 9 Billion Names of Pod with Dan Bauman and Michael Reed. I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm on a steam-only diet.
So, let's talk about some stuff. No, he's not bored.
No, not bored. Just
We just moments ago watched the new Stephen King, Ewan McGregor
joint.
joint.
The latest adaptation of the first adaptation of Dr. Sleep.
Yes.
You know.
Yes, but the latest Stephen King film adaptation.
Right.
Now, you did not read that. You have not read the book.
I have. It's not even in my stack of the next 10 to read.
Yes.
So I own it. In fact, didn't I loan it to you to read?
Yeah, I was going to say, ironically, I have read it, and I've read your copy of it.
Exactly. I'm behind on, I have about 10,000 albums I'm behind, about 800 films, and about 70 to 80 television shows.
Right.
Plus magazines, plus books.
Right.
Plus Have a Life.
Yes.
So I'm,
So you came into it knowing nothing at all.
No, not knowing, just that it's a sequel. I think I remember reading a little... an interview with Stephen King around the time the book came out.
Okay.
Vaguely what it's about.
Okay.
So
So you came in cold.
Pretty cold.
I
Yeah.
read it was interesting because I was reading The Shining for the first time. And
What?
Yeah, not too long ago.
So did you go Shining and then Dr. Sleep?
That's exactly what happened. I was here here in your palatial estate, and I mentioned, I'm about to finish The Shining for the first time, and you were like, have you read the sequel? Are you going to read the sequel? And I was like, what sequel? And you handed me the book. So I read them back to back.
Wow.
Which was really kind of cool.
I envy you because, you can never read a book for the first time again.
Right.
So I've already busted my cherry
right.
onto The Shining, but not Dr. Sleep.
Right. Now,
so with that in mind, just without giving away anything just yet, by the way, spoilers, people.
We're going to spoil it, so,
Yeah. How does the movie stack up to the book?
It pretty much is that book.
Okay.
It's pretty solid. It is.
So in other words, they didn't pull a Kubrick on it, even though they bit his style.
Well, it's interesting. Okay, so it was really interesting to read them back to back because I don't know how long ago you read The Shining. I'm sure it was a long time ago.
Junior high school.
But if you remember, The Shining is. It has a very slow burn. It's a long to get to when he starts going crazy. It's a lot of that book of them just living and getting there and figuring it out, and it like stuff slowly happens.
It's the table is being set.
Yep.
And it would be it wouldn't seem legitimate if Jack walked in, I'm sober, I'm great. Now I'm in the hotel, I'm angry.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a classic like that.
Because it's a story of a man basically being driven by the entities in the Overlook to do some murders.
Yeah.
Do a couple murders,
The book of Dr. Sleep reads almost exactly the same way. There is a lot of setup, and you may have felt that in the movie. There is a lot of setup, and there was a lot of backstory, and there's a lot of lead up to any kind of action that goes on.
And that never bothers me.
No.
Because at least in a book, I want the banquet to be laid out very splendidly over time. I want to take my time with it rather than just go through the pickup window, action, and the end. Like, I don't need that. Sometimes in a film, you got to get a little bit of action, at least in the first act, to kind of keep people going. But sometimes you need a bit of setup to make that action have more weight, have more meaning, have more to take you into the the rest of the film.
Right.
So I can understand. I've read a lot of books where when I see the film, they move up certain events, they push back certain events, they kind of jumble it up a little bit to try to make that first act something where people are like, I'm invested.
Right.
Rather than I can barely stand. Oh, okay, it paid off in the end. You want to get them pretty much. And the benefit that they had of Dr. Sleep is that people already had a shorthand for what's going on.
Right.
So they knew about The Shining. They knew about the Overlook. They knew, they knew Jack. Danny.
Yeah.
So you went in there with a bit of knowledge, and I think they laid it out pretty nicely.
Well, we'll get into it in a minute, but the interesting thing, like I said, it was really interesting because the Dr. Sleep read the same feel and vibe as The Shining, which is really interesting, and because
it's by the same author.
Well, that's the thing. Like, he has the crazy ability. I always cite as the craziest thing about Stephen King books, the two books, Desperation and The Regulators, which are the same character names and the same big bad, sort of, but one was written by Stephen King and one was written or put out by Richard Bachman. And they read like two completely separate people wrote the books. The writing styles are so diversely different that it blew my mind, because I was like, this is the same guy, just with a different name. He writes differently under.
Well, there's a reason why he didn't want to put, or I think at that point he was so popular that it was like the situation with Prince. Prince would record 45 albums over a weekend,
right,
and wanted to release at least a triple, and Warner would be like, oh, no, it's single from the album, other singles, go on tour, and Prince was like, no, I want to put out like 9 hours of music and then maybe tour here and there. And that, I think at that point, King was writing so much, there were certain stories of his that didn't quite have that Stephen King oomph about it, or he felt that he was writing it differently.
Yeah, I don't know what.
And he saved. I've read the Bachman books, but it was junior high school.
The only one I can remember specifically reading was The Long Walk.
Yeah, there's The Long Walk, and then there's one about a freeway, and it's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Yeah.
I think he did one more Bachman book after that.
Right, but the last one, the latest. I mean, shit, it was the '90s when he wrote Desperation and the other one. But yeah, just the fact that not to everyone knows that Stephen King is a great writer, but it just that's the thing that just always fascinated me about his writing style. Now, going into Dr. Sleep, let's get your impressions of what you just watched.
I liked when I was walking from the parking lot into the theater, I looked at the poster and went, that's the font from the original Shining.
It absolutely is.
And it was very cool how the poster had Danny going down the hallway, but had Danny coming towards him as an adult. I went
Danny on the tricycle and Danny down the hallway.
Yeah. I liked it. I'd give it a solid B plus maybe.
Okay.
I mean, it was good. It didn't it wasn't like It, where I'm like, oh man, I got to see this again, like in the theater, or any other film where, there's certain films you watch, and you go, I'm glad I watched it.
Right.
It was entertaining. Probably not going to see it again in the theater. Almost definitely not going to own it. I might want to rent.
Watch it again
on home, and maybe back to back with The Shining.
That's what I was saying. I was like, because I don't know the film of The Shining that well. I've seen it, but it's been a very long time.
I know that film
so
well.
I was wondering what you got out of that when they. So okay, spoilers. They do eventually go to the Overlook. So that's the biggest changes in the book, because when they announced that they were making a film of it, I was like, how is it a sequel to the book, or is it a sequel to the movie?
From what I could glean from things, is that King is given the absolute thumbs up for the script. He was happy with it. And what they did is they bit on enough of the Kubrick.
It's a sequel to both. It really is.
Right. And at first, when Halloran showed up, I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, hold it. He's not there, is he? Boom.
Right. Because in the book, he is alive.
Right, because he didn't die in The Shining.
Right. There was a few things that they had to fudge, but I think, spoiler for the book, I think he dies early in the book. So he does appear to Danny as a thing, but as a spirit or whatever. But he's not alive in the movie.
Right.
And
well, he's alive, just not in our reality.
right.
On our plane of existence.
Right. And good old Carl Lumley doing his Scatman Crothers impression.
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty great.
Yeah, not bad. I mean, at first I'm like, are they going to do CGI? Like, no, they got another, and they did that with all. They brought back.
They brought back Shelley Duvall.
Shelley Duvall's character.
Yeah.
And the woman who did it, pretty good.
Pretty damn good.
I mean,
I kept I meant to look her up, look her name, and see who it was, and I missed it.
I saw it in the credits. It wasn't anybody I recognized, but I thought she did a stellar job.
Absolutely.
She was just shy of going, "Oh, Popeye."
Yeah.
She nailed it. And at one point, I'm thinking, "Oh, I wonder if he's gonna visit his mom, and it'll be Shelley Duvall now." Of course, we find out that no, that's not possible. And then I remember, oh yeah, Shelley Duvall now looks nothing like Shelley Duvall.
Really? I haven't seen her.
Not at all.
No.
Like zero. So, and Shelley Duvall was really a phenomenal actress, and exceedingly skinny, but kind of in a cute way. In the 70s, she did a lot of really good work.
Yeah.
And after The Shining and Popeye, it just kind of... She did that fairy tale...
Yep, Fairy Tale Theater or whatever it was.
The TV show.
Yep.
And then a few other things, I guess. But I think she's just kind of
She just kind of went away, yeah.
And that's fine. Just because you were popular doing one thing doesn't mean you have to do that thing until you die.
Yes.
What I was waiting to see is how they would handle Nicholson's character, Jack Torrance.
Yep.
And part of me said... when he was talking to him at the bar, we're going to skip around a bit. This is really beneficial for people who have seen it,
the movie, yeah.
And then you'll know what we're talking about. So really, if you haven't seen the film, listen if you like, but we're going to spoil it.
We can go back to the beginning and kind of go through it.
You know what? I realized the last time we did that, we basically just narrated and told the whole story start to finish.
Okay.
And I just want to have random observations.
Okay, cool.
Because, if people want to know what the film's about, there's plenty of synopsis material.
Or go see the movie.
Or go see the film. Or wait for it on, come back. These things are ever on the internet.
Yes.
We're not going to delete them. So if you don't see it for another half a year when it comes out on DVD or Blu-ray, fine. Come back, and we're at, what is this, episode 210 now?
Something like that.
Something like
209,
that.
Something
209.
like that.
It'll be the Shining one.
Yeah.
Or the Dr. Sleep / Shining one. But you didn't see the bartender,
Lloyd.
That's it. And I'm listening very carefully, and I was wondering, are they going to start blending in, and if they got Jack Nicholson to actually do a little bit of voice work? No, they didn't do that, and that's fine. And the bartender, Lloyd, is just you must have me mistaken, but it's definitely
Jack Torrance.
It's an actor made up to look just like Nicholson in The Shining.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. And he was not trying to do a Jack Nicholson impersonation.
He wasn't doing the Jack impression.
Exactly.
Yeah, because Jack didn't even talk like that in the movie.
Well, towards the end, honey, darling, light of my life, then he was in full Nicholson mode.
Right.
But normally, and I think they handled that just fine. It was subtle, because basically this was an evil spirit, benign in the hotel. Remember, his power is just to talk you into doing some evil shit.
Yep.
Murder your family, take a first drink in 8 years, the kind of things.
Right. And as soon as Danny walked into the Overlook, I was like, oh, are we going to get to see Jack? Because Jack died there too in a bad way.
He did. He's in the hedge maze.
He's in the hedge maze,
looking all
frozen.
Yeah,
you've seen the meme, kids.
should have gone to the North Face and got something warmer to bundle up with.
Yep.
And I like the idea that the bartender was there. He never came after Danny. And he said, I don't know where the others are, but I expect they'll be around soon. Come around soon. Like, oh yeah, they're going to be around soon. And the reason he's there and the other ones are not is because they're in the coffins in the maze.
Yep.
And as soon as I saw the multiple ones, I went, well, I know from the trailer, unless it's in some kind of a fantasy thing, he's going back to the Overlook.
Yeah.
and those monsters are just itching to get out.
Right.
And
well, in as a spoiler for the book, it's the same in the movie.
yeah,
It's just Rose, the hat, who shows up. From what I remembered,
shows up where, at the Overlook?
At the Overlook.
Well, that's how it is in the movie.
Yeah, but I meant in you're right, in the movie. In the book, I thought that there were still more of them. Like they didn't all get taken out.
Oh, okay.
And what's cool about the book is that in the Shining, the Overlook is destroyed. Jack blows up he blows up the boiler and blows up the hotel in the book.
Oh, in the book.
In the book.
But not in the movie.
Not in the movie. Which is, and in the book of Dr. Sleep, they go to this sacred site where they either came from or, that has great power.
Right.
And it's the site of the Overlook.
Okay.
So we do end up there.
I have a feeling that Mike Flanagan, obviously watched The Shining, read Dr. Sleep, listened to King's problems and said, boiler not in this, boiler will be in this. And just kind of moved the things.
I can see that meeting. What if we finally blow up the Overlook with the boiler? And King was like, sold.
Yeah, because he read an interview. He read the script very, very carefully.
Oh, yeah.
Because, he's a little tender about The Shining. And I understand
Absolutely.
that. I understand that. Kubrick made a masterpiece. It's just...
Not that book.
It's just influenced and taking a few key bits from the book of The Shining.
Right.
But Kubrick basically just did his thing.
Yeah.
And
I think this was a really good blend of both.
Yeah.
They just, like I said, they retconned Dick Halloran being dead because he died in the movie, but not in the book. And the hotel was there, even though it's not in the book.
Right.
So
they did what they basically made it so that there's no glaring problems going from Shining to Dr. Sleep, and did enough with the stuff from that was left out of the movie The Shining, and put some of that into Dr. Sleep, and kind of smoothed it over. This is the kind of narrative shit that I dig, and I'm 100% on board with that.
This seemed like a big giant puzzle that the dude had to figure out how to solve, and I think he did it admirably. I really do.
You sit there and you read and you start making events and plot points and characters, and you try to, you arc and you run into problems and things were live here, dead here. Why do we make them a ghost?
Yeah.
So that,
it works within the narrative,
within
the
confines of. What do we think about Ewan McGregor's performance?
I thought he was fine.
He was adequate.
He was good.
He didn't shine, but he was playing a real just kind of damaged.
His I hate to say it, his American accent
it slips.
It's not that great. It's okay. Him and Cumberbatch, phenomenal actors, can't do the American accent, can't hold it for a whole movie.
Yeah, there's certain times where it kind of slips a little bit, and I'm like, okay, and that's on you, director, because you got to cut. Like, all right, you kind of rolled something, or you slipped into.
The one thing I'll say that they did kind of blow through that was a more of a thing in the book was that what finally drives him to get sober is the woman in the bed with the baby. They show up and they haunt him for a while. Like that's what that really pushes him to hit rock bottom.
In the film, I could not for the life of me understand what that woman was saying.
What she was saying was, they still haven't found us. They're used to him crying. She was like a drug addict and she had a baby, and she's like, they were used to him crying, so they just haven't found us yet. So she died in the bed, and then the kid starved to death because it was a baby left alone, and he stole her money and left. And they haunt him for a long time, which is why he goes to New Hampshire or whatever.
Oh, right. That was a premonition of what would happen.
No. Their spirits haunt him when they die. There
was a woman and a baby in the scene there where he was going to take the money, but Halloran talks him out of it. So are they the same people?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
He's in the bar being drunk, and he picks up that woman, and they go back to his place, and they have sex or whatever.
Right. I get that, but moving forward, so he leaves, doesn't take the money.
No, he took the money.
Oh, he did take the money.
He did take the money. At least in the book, he took the money.
We did not see him put the money back.
Yeah.
We heard, Halloran make
He
a case.
kind of put the baby on the bed with
Right.
a bag of Cheetos or whatever, and took the money and left. And they end up she OD'd and died. The baby is left alone, so the baby dies, and those spirits haunt him for a long time in the book.
Got it. Okay.
That's what pushes him to get sober.
I see. I didn't make the connection between
That was a thing because I was like, that was kind of important.
You kind of saw her at the bar, but it was very brief. And
Yeah.
then when she's lying in the bed nude, her face isn't seen.
Right.
So I did not make that connection that was the same.
Yes, and
then-
that's a one of the failings I can see.
Yeah.
And also in the book they explain that's the other. It's genetic. He's an alcoholic because of his father, but he also drinks to suppress the shine.
Right.
So there's a lot more. But on the whole, this was a pretty good adaptation.
Okay.
In my opinion. I didn't read it, I read it whatever it was 2 years ago or whatever, but from what I remember, it's like, yeah, that's the story. That's kind of what happens. It's that little girl, Abra, and Rose the Hat and Crow Daddy and all the rest of them.
I like that ambush scene.
Yeah.
I was very heartened by that. I was like, yeah, kill those fuckers.
I was like, she's going to Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows, like in Doctor Sleep 2, all of them, come back as, for lack of a better term, force ghosts.
Right.
And be like, I'm going to fuck with you until you're dead.
And again, spoilers. I think in the book, Danny makes it out alive. Alive, and they kind of just, I can't remember if he died or not in the book.
Well, he definitely died in the film.
He sure did.
And it's kind of the way it should be.
Yeah.
I feel like the thing is that he could have gotten out.
Yeah.
He was able to, once the boiler was going to go, he was able to throw off the hotel out of him.
He needed to see that hotel go. And
Yeah.
I think he had such a horrendous life that he was like, done.
I'm good.
I saved the little girl, and I got to destroy this evil place.
Yeah, I was bummed that Abra's father had to die.
Yeah, that kind of stuff always gets me. I was like, why? The innocent side character.
Oh well, I was really happy that his friend, I can't remember his name, the one that gets him into
Mike, I think.
Is it Mike?
Mike, I don't remember. Yeah, I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about.
I like that. I think he might have been either Indian or Middle Eastern.
Something like that.
He had
yeah.
kind of an ethnic look, and I went, good.
Yeah.
Let's
Well, and Abra's parents were mixed.
mixed. Mixed.
Which was great. Yeah, I don't think it's mentioned in the book, but why not?
Exactly. Inclusiveness.
Yay.
And speaking of inclusive, Atlanta. Now, I wasn't able to pick out, I didn't realize until you were just like going, like 5 times. I'm like, what? Oh, it's the plaza.
Yeah. And they showed it at the plaza this week, and I was like, it would be cool to go and see it, but we didn't. We went today.
But that didn't happen.
Yeah, the Plaza Theater, very old, one of the oldest movie theaters in Atlanta.
Is it from like 20s or 30s?
Something like that, yeah. And it's been bought and renovated several times, and they still do. It's kind of like an art house film.
It is an art house
theater,
kind of like what Landmark does in various cities, especially in San Diego.
Right.
We had the Ken and La Paloma and a bunch of those, which if they show new release films, it's towards the ends of the run,
right?
And they fill it up with great showings of, hey, remember the great 200 Motels by Frank Zappa?
Yep.
We're going to show that in a double feature with This Is Spinal Tap. Oh yeah.
Yeah, the Plaza does some stuff like that. I mean, that's where I saw Lost in La Mancha, the Terry Gilliam documentary, and that's where we saw the Zero Theorem, which you didn't like. And then, God, I've seen a bunch of stuff there.
I did finally see The Man Who Killed Don Quixote.
Did you?
I did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot.
I I still love Terry. Love Terry.
I thought it was exponentially better than Zero Theorem by a lot.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, I was actually entertained and watched it as
Yeah.
opposed to well, obviously, I was very tired and I kind of dozed through parts of it. So, which is why I'm definitely going to try it again.
Okay.
Because the cast is nice and
it was fine.
it just seemed like it really didn't go anywhere.
It didn't.
It just didn't have anything profound to say.
No, it didn't. It was just kind of depressing to be depressing, but
Yeah, well, so be it. Not so much with Dr. Sleep. Pretty good.
But it was cool that they filmed outside the plaza and inside the plaza.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a cool interior. It's a cool old style movie house.
Right. It's been renovated, but it's been renovated to keep that old charm.
Yeah, one screen. They might have added one screen upstairs. There is an upstairs, or unless I'm thinking of something else. But
I don't think there
or
is.
Maybe this is a lounge or something. But there's just the one theater.
Yeah, it's a one screen theater,
and it's where and it's got a stage. It's where they do Rocky Horror in town.
Believe it or not, I have never gone to see Rocky Horror at
Plaza.
At the Plaza. The one time I've gone while living in Atlanta, I took Mindy up to the one in Marietta, and it was dreadful.
Yeah.
Like,
I saw a really sad one in Marietta, like when I first moved here. And I was like, oh, I'm done with
this
that.
would have been like maybe 98, 99, 2000 at the latest.
Yeah, it might have been, yeah.
And it was just dreadful. And I remember telling people, they're like, well, why didn't you go to the one at the Plaza? That's the one to go to. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, it's fine. We knew some of the people in it, and we had varying
degrees of fun.
Yeah, well, with varying, we just had some issues with some of the people involved.
All right, fair
but it's still pretty good.
Yes, now I remember.
Yeah. But it was still pretty. It was, they do it. They've been doing it forever, and it's a good production. They do it well. So
now with Disney acquiring Fox, have you heard what Disney's been doing?
No.
All the Fox films, you can't get them into the theaters anymore. They are in the vault.
Really?
With one exception.
Rocky Horror?
Right.
Oh, okay.
Because if they pulled all the Fox films, including Rocky Horror, there would be a revolt of epic proportions.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they're doing that. Disney has this thing about, it's in the vault.
It's so they can pretend that it's like a special thing when they release it.
Hey, we've added the B trailer from the Italian release, so it's a new version.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing. I think they're just probably pulling everything back to kind of get a handle on just what they have.
Yeah.
And that's fine, but a lot of these art house films, they live off of, you may own a copy of The Princess Bride, but if they're showing it on the big screen, hell yeah, make a night out of it. Go and see it.
To see those things on a screen is really amazing again.
And that's where I agree with Tarantino. Mm-hmm. There's nothing like watching a film, a 35 millimeter film on the screen, not some digital project, which is fine, but having that real feel. It's the difference between listening to a CD and listening to vinyl.
Right.
They're both perfectly acceptable, but there's just something a little bit warmer, a little more personable about the vinyl.
Right.
About the film. Mm-hmm. But let's face it, people that appreciate film, they're going to be dead in 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Tarantino, the people that knew what film was in the theater, that only experienced it up to a certain time.
Right.
A lot of the people that grew up with vinyl just couldn't handle CDs. Like, nah, it doesn't sound right. Well, the people that grew up on vinyl, they're kind of going away now. But it's coming back though.
It is.
So there's that.
It is. So there could be the same thing with film. You never know.
All right. Well,
Harder to do.
Yeah, because a lot of these theaters have converted over to digital.
Yeah.
Because for security, instead of, shipping massive reels and striking all these prints, costs a lot of money to strike a print and then send it.
Yep.
And then have it, if you can just basically download it.
That's what they do. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that way they can control everything. There's no, sneaky stuff going on.
Right.
So at the end of a movie, if you wait till the end, you'll get the Windows cursor at the top. You're like, bastard.
They unlocked this showing of it.
Exactly. So, Dr. Sleep, what do we think of Abra?
I thought she was good.
She was
really good.
And I was waiting because I saw it in the trailer, the purple hair and the white eyes. I was like, when the hell's that going to show up?
Yeah.
And that apparently is like her flexing.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, I'm at full power now, bitch.
Yeah, I'm mad at you.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Like a visual representation
but
of it.
Really, I thought her best scene was what sold me 100% on her. Like, she was good through the whole movie.
Yeah.
And then when she was in the car and Danny took her over.
Yeah.
And she acted like somebody else.
She changed dramatically.
I mean, fantastic moment in that movie.
That was very well. It also helped that her character was drugged and kind of
but she sounded like a different person.
Oh yeah, she did.
Yeah,
she did.
So well done.
I was very pleased with that, and I was very pleased with the way her captor died.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was nice. I really enjoyed that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he pulled his own seatbelt to double seatbelt her. Smart. It's smart. It saved her life.
Yeah.
So, one thing I did kind of about.
Okay.
And you can tell me if this is in the book.
All right.
There is a concept that they introduced in Dr. Sleep that is straight out of Hannibal.
Okay.
The Library of the Mind. Although in Hannibal, it was more like a cathedral of the mind. But basically, that's how he could have almost total recall. He would just go inside his head.
They've done that. They did it on the BBC Sherlock as well.
Have they done?
Yes, they did the exact same. The Mind Palace is what it was in that. So that concept has been around.
All right. I don't know who originated it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Hannibal was what, 2000, 95? I can't remember when the book Hannibal came out.
I have no idea.
It's been a while back. But that was the first time I encountered the Hannibal's, Cathedral of the Mind.
Right.
And so,
I can't remember if that was in the book or not, but that was a great scene on both of them.
Oh, yeah. Especially when she had, jammed her hand in there and then went off into her brain. And instead of like a closet full of boxes, it was
a cathedral.
It was a cathedral
just
of
as
the
she
mind.
Described it, yeah.
And she's sitting there flipping through all this information really quickly.
Yeah, very cool.
And I'm like, nice.
Yep.
So she knows what you know, for the most part.
There was one of the things, I don't know if I kind of pumped my fist because there was a nice little Easter egg.
Oh, really? Which one?
When Danny was talking as an adult to Dick Halloran, when he came for the last time,
right?
And he was saying that this is my last time, and everything comes around. He said Ka is a wheel, and that's the Dark Tower. The Ka is the concept of family, I think it is, or balance, and Ka like a wheel is right out of the Dark Tower, and I was like, ah!
I remember you definitely perked up at that moment.
Yeah, I'm a huge Carl Lumbly fan. Anyway, he's been in a bunch of stuff. He was in the Justice League cartoons as the Martian Manhunter. And
God, give that character a film. Well, of course, it's DC, so it'll be fucked
up.
Well,
it was cool because they've incorporated Martian Manhunter into the Supergirl TV show, and is
it good?
Yeah, it is. It's pretty good. I mean, the CG is a little janky, but it is. They're using him at least.
You don't have to do CG with Martian Manhunter. You just get a good suit. You don't need to do CG.
Yeah, you do if he's in his full Martian mode. The pointy head and everything.
In the Martian mode.
But they brought in Carl Lumbly as his father, as Jean's father, which is, I love when they do stuff like that, but the little Dark Tower thing was like,
yeah, you definitely perked up at that moment. You're like, hey. That was pretty decent. Rose the Hat.
mm-hmm.
I dug her.
Oof.
She was a badass.
Yeah, she was.
And I don't think I've seen her in anything else.
Rebecca Ferguson is her name. I'm sure she's been in stuff, but yeah,
she did very very well. And the whole concept of the steam that must have been introduced obviously in Dr. Sleep the book.
Yes, yeah.
Because it was nowhere to be found.
No, it's basically just another name for the shine, or a physical or psychic manifestation, I guess, of it. Yeah, and again, there was a lot of information that was kind of like garbled, because they're called the True Knot, is what the name of their troupe of traveling vampires or whatever you want to call them.
Naught? Not?
No, Knot. The True Knot.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, and
I would have thought it would have been like, Juggernauts or True.
No, like the True Knot, and they've been around forever. One of those kind of things.
Well, when the old guy died, she was talking about Romans and eating kings and stuff like that. It's like, all right, so apparently eating enough shine will keep you alive for
a very long time,
like a millennium.
Well, was it like eat well, live long, kind of thing?
Yeah,
and
Arby's, eat well, live long.
That was Lurch from the Addams Family movies.
Yeah, he looked a little lurchy.
That was Mr. Hom from Star Trek. Yeah, Carol Struycken is his name.
Okay, yeah, he had kind of a weird look about him.
Yep.
So I didn't recognize him in that. That's good.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him in that until I saw his name, and I was like, "Oh, it's Mr. Hom from Star Trek."
I thought the C-D storyline with the little 15-year-old luring pervs in there.
Yes, snakebite. Yeah,
and I'm like, I like that. That's an interesting way to use your power. I fully dig that. And she turned out to be a mean, vindictive little bitch.
Right.
Especially as she was dying.
That was harsh. I can't remember if that happened in the book or not.
Yeah.
Because that's her power, is to get pushers, to get the people to do stuff, and, just kill yourself. Boom.
Well, that's right out of Jessica Jones.
Yes.
Kilgrave.
Yeah. Go over there and stand over there and don't move forever.
No.
Let me see. I'm looking at something up right here.
Yeah, what's that?
No, I was wrong. Okay, so in the very first scene, I kind of perked up. The little girl Violet, who
right.
Her mother is a local Atlanta actor
that
I recognized. I kind of know her. Her name's Bethany Ann Lind, and she's been popping up on a bunch of shows and stuff. But we did theater a couple of years ago together, and I was looking at the credits, and Snakebite is Emily Allen Lind, and I'm like, I'm wondering if she was related, but it does not seem to say that on IMDb. And I don't know her enough. Like I said, I don't know Bethany well enough to know if she had a sister or not. So It was kind of cool.
So not old enough for her to be her daughter.
No.
Okay.
No. Bethany's, in her 30s maybe at this point.
Well, I mean,
I think she does have a baby, but it's a baby.
It's a baby.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're 30, technically or biologically, it's possible to have a 15-year-old, but chances are probably not.
Birthplace. No, it doesn't look like it's her. And I saw another name, Charles Green is another acquaintance who was in there somewhere. I saw his name in the credits. I was like, oh, Charles was in here too.
My favorite thing of watching the credits is at the end, when you see the
made
in Georgia.
Yeah, a lot of it was filmed here. I remember, I guess it would be about a year and a half ago, maybe two. I was over at Dad's Garage, and my friend Bill Leahy was like, yeah, we got he's in this weird scale train club, and they got approached by the by the production looking for small trains, and he said somebody was going to donate their train, for the production of it for Teeny Town. Well, or let them get
some of that sweet Hollywood money.
Get it, into the production.
Yeah.
I think it was shot in Covington. He said, and it was outside of Conyers or Covington. A lot of that outside stuff was filmed.
I didn't recognize any in-town locations other than the plaza.
Yeah, I did. It very well could just be poor memory, but the where the train looked like the park we filmed the day I did extra on the Vampire Diaries, which was filmed in Covington. So I might just be making all of that up, but it could be.
Well, you can easily tell because in the scene as they come up and they show the town, there's that very unique church style that you never see anywhere else.
Right.
Except 900,000 times.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. When I first came to Atlanta, the two things that just blew me away, well, three things. The first thing was, God damn the perimeter.
Well, yeah.
Am I going east, north, west? I'm circling the drain.
Yeah, the perimeter is Interstate 285, which is a circle around the metro Atlanta area, and it changes. As you drive on it, it goes from north to east or west to south to
I think
north.
It should say clockwise with a circle and a dot showing you are here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very confusing.
Very confusing. I'm not a fan of it. The second thing was package stores.
Yes.
The first time I saw the package store, I went, that's a great idea. I mean, I'm crap at wrapping presents. Yeah. And then I look carefully at the window, and there's all these liquor ads.
And you're driving around going, I can't find a liquor store to save my life.
Exactly. And I just went, okay, usually they're called liquor stores, and liquor is sold in grocery stores in California.
Yeah.
You got to have ID and everything, and they won't sell you past a certain time.
In New York, it's liquor stores. Yeah, you can buy beer and wine in grocery stores.
No, we could buy spirits.
Oh, really?
In California, the whole shebang.
Wow.
I don't understand. I mean, I guess you have to drink more, but you can get just as drunk on beer and wine as you can on liquor. It just takes a little bit more sometimes. Right. I don't understand the concept. It's alcohol.
Yes. It's all the same.
I mean, heck, you could just buy a bag of sugar and a bag of any fruit and just start fermenting your own shit, I mean, it's all alcohol. And, of course, the third thing was that damn church design.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
You make a right at the church, but not the first church, the second church.
Right.
You'll know because it has the pointy spire and the tan and the white, and it's like they were giving away blueprints for free one day. Like, here's small church, medium church, large church.
This is what a church looks like.
And this is the one we call Fort Jesus. That one will cost you.
Was it Six Flags Over Jesus?
6 Flags Over Jesus. Yeah, exactly. I saw a lot of those in Alabama.
Yeah.
Remember when
That's the one I was referring to.
Yeah, when we went out to hang out with Jared and Casey.
Yeah.
6 Flags Over Jesus. My God, that was huge.
Yep.
So overall, how's your feeling on? I gave it a BB plus. What about yourself?
I'll give it that. Yeah, I'll give it even almost an A minus. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good adaptation of that book because I was like, okay, yep, they did that. Okay, yep. And again, I didn't read it, a month ago. I read it about 2 years ago.
Right.
But I remembered most of it. The ending was a little fuzzy. Like I said, I think there were way more of them, and I think the outcome was obviously the same, where he opened up he let the let the ghosts out of the boxes. But I think it wasn't just a one-on-one standoff. I think it was a lot of them coming to, and I think that might be where the other guy died, his friend. But overall, I really did enjoy it. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really well done, and it was cool because. I think it was real smart of the director. He saw an opportunity of, I get to play in The Shining, and I get to play in The Overlook, and I get to do the freaking blood in the elevator and the little girls.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Did they recreate it, or it looked just a little bit soft? I'm like going, did they pull the original?
Maybe, or did they say, we're going to get to do it? I don't know.
I mean, if you could seamlessly integrate the blood coming out of the elevators without having to do it, I think, well, it's going to be about 30,000, or we can just drop this in and do, 200 in processing of that small
But
scene.
imagine film nerds where it's like, I get to do that. I get to recreate that moment.
Well, they got to recreate. I don't know how much of those recreated scenes were CGI.
Which ones?
In the Overlook. I mean, I kind of feel like they did a lot of CGI in there.
Like the whole place, or what are you talking about?
The interior, because they were. Yeah, I really do. And another thing that popped up, the scene with I think his name's Bruce Greenwood, the doctor.
Yeah.
That office looked to me. I'm gonna have to look at The Shining. It looked just like the office that Jack Torrance interviewed in for the caretaker job.
Interesting.
Those windows in the back, it really reminded me of that.
I'm sure it was completely on purpose.
Right.
Yeah.
And of course, they totally bit. It was at night, though. They did, I think, I'm going to have to watch it again. It looked like their drive up to the Overlook. Mm-hmm. They... Remember,
I have a feeling
they took it shot for shot to take them up to the Overlook.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same music, too. I mean, why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah, well, they got new music in here, but I'm sure much like, Williams brings back Leia's theme or Darth, whatever like that, there's certain themes that come back through. Although I was thinking, I'm guessing it must have been at just the beginning of winter, because that car, without chains, ain't making it up to the Overlook, and that was a whole plot point.
Is that they got snowed in.
Yeah, and like the only
8
way
feet of snow.
Right, the only way to get up there is in a snowmobile.
Yeah, and to get out of the hotel, you go out the second story window. Is what it was.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So it must have been just at the beginning of winter, which is fine.
Yeah,
snow.
I think it was fall because she was wearing a jacket. Like Abra was wearing a jacket in New Hampshire, so it wasn't winter. I don't think.
Right. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. That's fine. Mm-hmm. I really dug how he walked in. The first time I'm thinking, like, he didn't bring a flashlight. What does he think he's gonna have?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like he just knew,
and the hotel was just waiting for him.
And just first of all, what electric company continues service up there?
Yeah.
Of course, it's the hotel. It probably has its own,
Yep.
But then there's the boiler. Where's the gas coming from to heat? All right, it's a magic hotel, Michael. just you'll believe in force ghosts and like magic astral plane projection, but you won't believe that that a ghost hotel can suddenly.
But there's no gas in that.
Who's paying the electric bill? Who's
filling up that boiler?
Exactly. Yeah. So, but I tell you, man. If I had a mind to, and I don't, but God, I really wish I was in a position where I had a house that I could just carpet it in the Overlook.
Fucking carpet.
That fucking carpet.
That they started the movie. That was the pattern.
Yeah. As soon as the first tile popped, I went, "Are they going to? There's another one." Boom! They're going right to the carpet because that carpet is iconic.
Iconic to that movie.
And I think I'm not sure, but I think someone did like a run of that carpet. Like you
can get that pattern
you
anyway.
Pay through the ass for it, but you can get it.
Yeah.
I mean, part of me is like, if I ever redo my office, I could definitely do the carpet from the Overlook Hotel here. It would really clash with everything, and I'm fine with that.
It would clash with everything on Earth. That carpet.
Yeah,
it's an awful pattern and awful color scheme.
Yeah, it's just
but that's not why you'd put it on.
Right. It's very late 60s, 70s. It's got that heavy orange.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the Brady house would have been fine with that carpet.
It would be really funny to like carpet the upstairs hallway with that, just to the guest, like if you had guest rooms, just because anybody who walked in got the joke, like fuck no,
or actually have the carpeting start halfway up the stairs, and you're like, what the? And then, of course, you turn the corner, and at the very end of the hallway, painted on the wall, is the two girls. There you go. I'm feeling it. Feeling it. Unfortunately, I've done as much structural change to my house as I'm going to do. I'm not going to add a second story.
Just to freak people out.
That's a very... it'd be cheaper just to buy another house that actually has that in it.
Yes.
But I'm the kind of person that would do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
If it was plausible here, I definitely...
Yeah.
So when it's finally all the remodeling is done, it'll definitely have some subtle kitsch and some
Nice.
some zazz. I call it zazz. It's got some zazz.
Oh dear.
So, did you ever watch the film? I think it's called Room 237.
I have not. Is that the conspiracy theory one?
It's the conspiracy.
I really want to, just because I love that stuff, because it's so ridiculous. But
it's interesting. It convinces you in the way that the Paul McCartney is dead thing. At the end, you're like, oh yeah, of course that makes sense. You know, it's not true.
Yeah.
But I had a teacher.
Now, it's basically explaining how Kubrick is explaining how he faked the moon landing through The Shining.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they find a lot of stuff where you're like, yeah, that makes sense. You know, the number 237 happens to mean something. It's also a big thing that King uses.
Yeah. It's in a bunch of his stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I'm very keen on that kind of stuff. The thing that was interesting, at least with the Paul McCartney experience, was that when I was in junior high, I had a teacher, and one day he said, today we're going to go through the Paul McCartney experience. And he laid out the entire thing for us. Pictures, you know, he had the slide projector and everything. And at the end, we're like, holy crap. And he goes, yeah. And you know what the most incredible part is? What, Mr. A? It's all a lie. Think for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it was basically, the whole thing was a lesson on
how you can be...
Don't get sucked in by propaganda and conspiracy theories and other BS. In other words, stop watching Fox News. It's one big Paul McCartney experience.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, we'll take 3 actual facts, but then weave in so much crap around it, your brain latches onto the facts and goes, I know that's true, and then I guess everything adjacent to it is, you know.
But Michael, he doesn't have shoes on the cover of Abbey Road. That means that he's dead, because and George is dressed like an undertaker.
Of course, that was the big thing there.
Yeah.
You know, and then the lyrics, you know, the walrus was Paul.
Yep.
The walrus, blah 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 blah. It was very interesting. I was very glad to have experienced it, and that's why when I watched the Kubrick faked moon landing documentary, I was like, bullshit. Oh, wow, interesting. Bullshit. Wow, you're crazy. Yeah, thumb up your ass. So it's there's a reason why The Shining is beloved, because it is a damn good film. It's just not a faithful adaptation.
No, not at all.
It's almost like somebody read the Cliff Notes of The Shining and went, okay, got it. And then... I'll fill
Haunted
in
Hotel.
Yeah, I got it. I'll mix in my own stuff.
And it was funny because if you remember, in one of the scenes, they recreated the Overlook in Ready Player One as well.
They did.
So like the Shining is getting a bit of a renaissance.
Oh yeah,
recently.
Exactly. It's like it ripples out. I'd say it's probably, of the supernatural horror Stephen King films, probably the most beloved.
Oh, yeah, by far.
I mean, no. Stand By Me and Shawshank ranks as the best King adaptations.
Hands down.
You know, and at least It Chapter 1, pretty solid.
Yep. Green Mile was good, too.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Well, basically, it was almost Shawshank Part 2.
Yeah.
Because, same creative team.
Yep, Frank Darabont and... Yep.
Yeah. So, it was pretty... I'm still... Why'd they have to kill Coffee?
Yeah.
Damn.
Yep.
And then what blew my mind is that, you know who old Tom Hanks was?
No, I don't remember.
Reverend Alden from
that's
Little
right.
House on the Prairie.
Yes.
I saw that and I was like, holy crap, he's still alive.
That guy? Wow.
he was old in the 70s, and now here we are in 1990, whatever the hell it is.
9 or 8 or 9 or something like that.
Oh, yeah. But It Chapter 2, I did not like it.
Not as good, yeah.
No, not as good. And it reflects in the box office, because It Chapter 1 did like $750 million domestically, and Chapter 2 only did about $450. So that tells you something there. People know.
Yeah, I honestly, like I said, I enjoyed this movie a lot. I still don't think it's gonna knock Joker out of number 1 this weekend.
Oh, it could. Because Joker's been out a month now.
Yeah, but it's
been a juggernaut.
number one.
It
is literally the most profitable
R-rated film ever.
No, super comic book movie of all time, because it only cost $50 million.
Profitable. The key is profitable.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There really wasn't much CG or any CGI.
They did it for under $50 million.
Yeah, and it was like a gritty. It almost was like a Scorsese filming in New York in '74.
Yeah, it was Taxi Driver and King of Comedy. Is
right,
what it
exactly.
Is. Yeah, but the amount of money it's brought in has been the most profitable. Well, it's a Blair Witch situation.
That's right, exactly. It's like, Blair Witch has only made $300 million. Yeah, but they shot it for like $30,000. Yeah. Like, really? Yeah, okay.
Right.
That's why all these other people go, oh, wow, we can turn out kind of crappily made films with a decent concept.
No, don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, when, what's the one that just, what's the one that just came out? Superhero type film. It would cost like $180 million?
Oh,
I can't remember the name of it. But I looked and it only made back its box off. It hasn't made its box office back yet. I know what you're talking
about. Not that Will Smith one.
Not Gemini Man. It's a different one. Anyway, I'll remember it at some point. But that's the key. When I'm looking at box office, I'm like, oh wow, it did $40 million, decent on its opening weekend. Let's look at what did it cost to make, and if it says not available, that tells you something. Yeah. Disney almost to a one does not divulge their box office.
Right.
Excuse me, not box office. Their budget.
Right.
Their budget for the film. And in my calculations, if a film costs $50 million to make, for it to be truly profitable, it needs to make $150 million.
Easily. Yeah.
You got to triple the budget because you've got all your advertising costs.
The marketing is almost more than the budget, the filming budget. It's a good chunk of it.
Depending on the film.
Yeah.
Depending on the film. And the one film that, my God, they're spending trillions of dollars on promotion and TV ads is Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah.
I've seen that commercial 1 billion times.
Right.
And apparently it's really, really very good.
Yeah.
It makes fun of Hitler. So
I definitely want to see it.
I'm all for that.
And Taika Waititi, or Waititi, whoever you say his name.
Taika Waititi.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think he's half Aboriginal Australian.
Yeah.
And he plays Hitler in the film.
He does. Well, he did Thor Ragnarok, and he did... have you seen What We Do in the Shadows, his movie?
I have not seen the film... But I have watched the TV series.
Okay.
God, it's so good.
The film is every bit, if not better.
Yeah,
the film
I need
is
to see it.
Pretty amazing. Yeah, it's pretty funny. And that was him and Britt McKenzie, I believe, from...
Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah.
Which actually, they reformed a little while back and actually did a minor little tour. Didn't come to Atlanta.
No.
When does any band ever come to Atlanta?
It's getting better. It's getting better.
Yeah, but every time it's like, oh my God, they're getting back together. We're going to finally get Rage Against the Machine. Let's look at those tour dates.
Oh, no. Yeah, not even close. No.
Now, if they do a full tour, they probably will come to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Because even, what was the Morello?
Tom Morello?
Yeah, no, the project he did with Chuck D. Prophets of Rage, I believe.
Yes.
That went and played... up in Alpharetta, whatever the amphitheater is.
Verizon Amphitheater.
Yeah, they played up there. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is when my sister was here, and she was like iffy on going, and I got sick the day before. So sick, and I just had to eat the tickets.
That sucks.
I couldn't even gather the strength to post free tickets, come get them. I just, and it was like the day of, and I was like, I can't do it. So, which sucks because now they've broken up because Rage Against the Machine is reformed to tour.
Yeah.
We'll see.
To do some shows.
To do some shows. They basically are reforming to play Coachella.
Yes.
And there's some other dates, probably warm up dates to kind of get everything lubricated, lubricated, get the mojo going.
If they did a full tour, they would make huge bank.
They would be banking, and it's not like Zach De La Roca is busy.
No, well, it wasn't that. He didn't want to do it anymore. He wanted to be an activist or whatever it was.
Right. Well, he said,
Tom Morello was like, no, I'm a musician, so I'm going to keep doing that.
Right. And I'm sure he's been doing some stuff, just not musically.
Right.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But the fact that they're getting back together, I'm looking forward to it. Someone even created a meme, guys, guys around the age of 40 find out that Rage Against the Machine is reforming, and like it shows a guy like running, or I can't remember what the meme was, but
same with My Chemical Romance getting back together. All the younger kids are losing their shit.
I know some of them are like they're like crying, like, oh my god.
But I get it. I mean, if Rush got back together, I'd be right there. So
No. They stopped touring. Doesn't mean they're not together anymore.
Well,
come on.
Yeah, okay. We'll hold out hope.
Motley Crue stopped touring, but they're still together. They just put out a new song for something. I can't remember what it is.
Oh, okay.
So they said cessation of touring. They signed an agreement, which of course doesn't mean that they can't. We're going to play 3 dates, not a tour.
Yeah.
We'll just play 3 dates. And you know what? When you get up in age, of course, they're not quite that old to be doing that. But, Stones are still doing, 80 dates in a year. I'm like, isn't Charlie Watts basically just dust by now?
Yes.
I mean, good Lord. And Mick had his heart issue.
Yep.
And then showed him back in the
gym.
In the gym, just doing his dancing. I'm like,
that's why he's that way, because he never stopped.
I know. It's like, I can't do that, and I am like half your age.
Yes.
And you're just like, and you're doing it, 2.5, 3 hours a night. Good on you.
Yep.
But I'm guessing that after that energetic thing, he goes right to bed, sleeps for about 10 hours.
And is just vegan all day.
and wakes up and does sound check.
Yep.
Nothing else.
Nope.
No birds, no booze, no blow.
Nothing. Yep.
You can't do any of that stuff. I'm assuming. Then Keith Richards goes, hold my beer.
Yeah.
Here, hold my other beer.
Yeah.
So anyway, blah, 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 blah. Dr. Sleep, very nice. We like it.
Yeah, enjoyed it.
All right, probably not. I'll rent it.
Yeah, I might watch it again.
Yeah, it's not something I don't feel like I need to own it.
No, I don't think so.
Actually,
I don't own The Shining either. So
it makes me want to go back and watch The Shining.
Yeah,
and then of course, like the voice in my head goes, Michael, you have 800 films waiting. Why do you keep rewatching the shit that you love so much?
Because that's what you love it.
Because sometimes you don't want your brain to take in new stuff. You want to reinforce the stuff that's already in there. And I get it, but it kills me. Yeah. Speaking of budgets and stuff like that, the movie I was thinking of was Terminator, Dark Fate.
Yeah.
And with a $185 million budget.
Yeah.
And after 9 days of release, $135 million made.
Oof.
Which, for some films, all right, it's going to get there. For a Terminator film,
yeah, big tentpole. This might finally kill Terminator.
I hope so.
Well, what else can they do? I mean, they brought back Linda Hamilton. They brought back Arnold. What else can they do? There's just, it's got to go. There's nothing left.
The only thing that's left, really, is a careful extension of, like, running up to Skynet coming live, which means none of the characters are, nobody's there. It's, what's his name, is dead. He blew up the building in Terminator 2, but the work lives somehow.
Or you just do the full, or did they, the full future war thing where they run
Well, they did one.
Was that Genesis?
I think that was, wasn't Christian Bale in one of those?
Yeah, I think it was that one, yeah. And Matt Smith was in it, and
I'm just, I'd love me Christian Bale. I think he's becoming, what's the guy that I like so much? I can't remember his name, damn it. He retired. My Left Foot.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis, right. He is becoming that kind of auteur of solid performance. I mean, this is the guy that, like, basically turned himself into a skeleton for The Machinist.
Well, watch Empire of the Sun when he was 12, and he was the best thing in the freaking movie.
Yeah, exactly. So, hopefully he won't retire like Daniel Day-Lewis has, because he did Phantom Thread, and then he pieced out. He wants to wants to be a shoemaker in Italy. Hey, you know what? rock on, man.
Yeah, if he can do that. Yeah.
Go out on top. I mean, every film that he's done in the last, 20 years has earned, if not him a nomination or a win, somewhere. The Picture got nominated. I mean, he works in, tight films. That I mean, there will be blood. Good God, that's such. I mean, it's sickening how good that film is.
Yep, that performance.
You know who made that film?
P.T. Anderson.
Who also did?
Yeah, I know.
Come on, say it.
I don't want to say.
Say it.
Magnolia.
Yeah, that's right. Magnolia, baby.
Yeah.
All right. Also did Boogie Nights. Can we get okay with that?
Boogie Nights is fine.
Oh, I have a special love for Boogie Nights because it feels like home.
Yeah, Southern California.
Every scene, it's just like, I used to hang out there. Oh my God, it still looks the same. And, it's kind of like watching. There's some film, Navy film with what's his name? Show Me the Money. Cuba Gooding Jr.
Okay.
And they showed him like a boat coming in, like a Navy ship coming in. I'm like, oh my God, that's San Diego. I mean, it was laid out. I was like, wow.
That's cool. Yep.
But poor Terminator Dark Fate.
Yeah.
It'll make back its budget. I have probably.
It'll break even-ish.
Well, which means it didn't. Because if they did any promotion, and they did, it's not gonna make it.
Nope.
The only thing that can save the franchise is if they take the characters from Terminator 2 and then place them in...
Medication time. Medication time.
Thank you, Dr. Sleep. I will take my medication, and I will tell you more stuff next week.
The 9 Billion Names of Pod was conceived, written, and performed by Michael Reed and Dan Bauman, with Abdul Beni Hassan as the sound of splintering wood. Research, transportation, and exasperated looks by Courtney Lohner. Technical assistance by Cubase, Pro Tools, Skynet, QLab, Deep Thought, Big Brother, and Eddie, your shipboard computer. Financial consideration provided by the Wayne Foundation, Stark Industries, the Bronner Brothers, and LexCorp. Legal counsel by the offices of Howard, Howard & Fine. All work and no play make Homer something.
Go!
Our intro music was written by Tim Akers. This podcast was sponsored by Deep Shag Records and is a production of Audio Primate. Throw us a couple stars on iTunes, why don't you? Listen, watch on YouTube, stream us on Spotify, listen on SoundCloud, stream us on Stitcher, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, or email us comlink@billionpod.com. Until this happens again, I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm Michael Reed.
Hello, Z.
Audio Primate.